What's up, everyone? Welcome to another week of What You're Missing. I'm sorry that it's a few days late. I've been sick. I left town over the weekend for a few days and for the 4th of July, and I had access to a camera on my laptop, but my voice, I don't know if you can tell, my voice was kind of on the outs on Sunday when I went to do it, and it was all bad. But I'm here today, and it's just delayed by a couple days. I know that your Monday and Tuesday have been darker as a result of the absence of entertainment. And I'm here to rectify that. So Wednesday and Thursday this week will be What You're Missing Part 1 and 2. I'll probably still post Let's Play videos as the opportunity arises. I've got a Portal 2 from last week, and I think this evening I'm going to be playing with JT a little bit of Towerfall Ascension. So look for that. We'll get into the news here. Today's Wednesday. So it's a little odd to be looking a week and a half back, but bear with me. So we're going to get right into it. There's apparently a mystery donor contributing mass sums of money, or mass quantities, depending on how you want to phrase it, to Twitch streamers. And we're talking like $20,000 to $50,000. And I think his name is Amhai, A-M-H-A-I, and nobody knows who he is. I mean, there may be one or two people who either know and won't tell, or whatever it is. So there's some speculation that maybe he's some oil tycoon over in the Middle East, or maybe it's somebody in the US, and I don't know. But either way, that's pretty cool. I have not received any large sums like that, so you can save yourself the asking. But yeah. So Crytek, which is also known for the Crysis engine, they were the developer behind Rise, and they're working currently on a Homefront game called, I think it's Homefront: The Revolution. So they've been working on that quite a bit. It's based out of the UK, and last week, and maybe the week before, there were reports that their employees weren't being paid, and people were understandably upset because, you know, it's called work. Everybody says it's called work for a reason, not because it's fun, but because it's work, right? Well, if you're not even getting paid, then yeah. So then it's more like slavery. So this week, or last week, I guess, people just started to stop showing up to work. A lot of people have been leaving the studio, and it's understandable. I hope that the studio manages to get its shit squared away. It sounds like they are in negotiations with the publisher of the game, the Homefront game that they were currently working on, to let the publisher, Deep Silver, buy them, which at least to, you know, salvage the Homefront development costs and all the stuff that they've been putting their money into. So hopefully that happens. It sounds like that might be the best outcome for everybody involved, so that those people who want to stay there and have enjoyed their jobs, but obviously wanted to get paid for doing them, can stay, and, you know, hopefully it'll get a little bit of stability into what sounds like a tumultuous situation. So hopefully the people who are leaving are landing on their feet, and hopefully the developer as a whole will survive and be able to continue making games. So here's hoping. There was a Hearthstone tournament announced by IESF. I don't know what it stands for. I didn't look it up. But they announced it as male only. And as you might anticipate, there was some outcry on the internet, as there is about many things, about, you know, how horrible this is, that they would literally say that it's male only and sorry, but thanks. And so within a day, due to the vitriol that internet denizens showed, the company, or the people putting on the tournament, changed their tune a day later and said, actually, it's open to all. We changed our minds. We're sorry. And so while initially that's not probably the best PR you can hope for, it's definitely not the worst. So props to them for hearing that they were acting like douchebags and changing their act. So good for them. Speaking of acting like douchebags, and who doesn't like a douchebag segue, because douchebags abound, there is a parody account on Twitter called Moms Against Gam, but it's basically called, it's at Moms Against Gam, but it's called Moms Against Gaming. And basically they post all kinds of outlandish shit about how games are corrupting America, and that everything that is bad in the world is the cause of video games. So if you go over there, they've got some really, if you didn't know that it was a parody account, you would probably be incensed to read all of it. And I was, because I didn't know that it was a parody account. And then I reread the article that I read and discovered. And it turns out that I'm not alone, that a lot of people don't know that it's a parody account, including people who support the false and misleading bullshit that they're tweeting, because it's false and misleading. And but not only people who support those ideas and the false and misleading bullshit, but people who are gamers and who support gaming. And those people have decided, some of them, some of the more vocal few, I guess, that the best way to handle their disagreement with this, what they thought was a real account on Twitter, was to wish cancer upon the people behind it. So I guess the takeaway here is that people make parodies of things, and before you get all upset because you read an article on The Onion, stop and realize that it's on The Onion. Or, as this particular case, you're on Twitter, so people are going to say all kinds of outlandish shit anyways, but that what they're saying is a parody. And maybe you should not get so worked up. But I guess the bigger takeaway is not to be an asshole. Okay? So wishing cancer on anybody, not cool, man. Not cool. So don't do that. Don't be that guy. And yeah, there's got to be a better way. Last up, keeping with our theme, as there seem to be a couple themes. First, women in gaming, and we've already covered that, so that's fantastic. And then secondly, ridiculous simulators. So last week, the ridiculous simulator that was announced and apparently is doing very well on the Steam Greenlight is the grass simulator. Now, this is exactly what you might imagine. And it goes hand in hand, or maybe it'll pair nicely with the rock simulator. But I would make the projection or prediction that one of the next, if not the very next simulator that we're going to see crop up is a paint drying simulator. I mean, you got to figure that these are all kind of somebody's idea of a joke, and the community also thinks it's a joke, but so much so that they're supporting the development of these ridiculous games. So let's look forward to the paint drying simulator, because what else is there other than grass growing and being a rock? So something to look forward to. All right, so that's all I've got for this week. I know it wasn't extremely entertaining, but you work with what you got. And it was a short week. It was 4th of July. Not a lot of people are going to come out and say, give their best news right before the 4th of July. I spent, just to give you a quick flash, I spent a large portion of my 4th of July hunched over and or lying prone because I was sick, and the exercise that I was talking so positively about last week apparently worked some muscles that I have not worked in a long time, or at least not in that way, and they were paying me back for the unexpected exertion. So anyway, that's all I've got, and thanks for listening. Hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, tweet about it. There's an idea, and I'll see you next week.